Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
It has been long overdue to expose the truth that the Democrats and Republicans are sucking the life out of America's liberty and usurping our rights at every turn. Now is the time to seize our civil liberties and take back our individual rights. Here on Southern Liberty, we will expose it all. With his musket on his back, the Declaration of Independence in one hand, and the Constitution in the other, here's your host, Roderick Threets.
Welcome to the Weekend Liberty Defenders. Glad that you can join us on this feature presentation. Is it really a feature presentation or is it just us talking smack? I think it might be a combination of both, but it's always a feature presentation when we talk smack because people need to get smacked upside the head a couple, 2-3 times. You know, knock some sense into them. You know what I mean? But this evening we're gonna the main part of the show. We're gonna talk about, you know, protecting the kids and the dangers to our kids from top to bottom. We're going to definitely get into that piece, but we're going to get into a little bit of news before we get started. So before we even do that, let me bring on my beautiful co-host, Miss Kel. What's going on, girl?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Just waiting for more storms to come through.
Hey, look. I'm gonna start right here a second. My conservative cousins. You have fallen for the DeSantis propaganda booby trap.
Yep.
I'm going to call it what it is. And all these people shouting, "Oh my God, I cannot believe DeSantis in Fort Lauderdale. I can't believe he left them hanging." Listen, when you get over 12 inches of water in an hour, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care what kind of storm drain system you get. I mean, we get hurricanes. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you get over a foot an hour and over a 3 to 4 square mile space, you are going to flood exponentially. And now the left has got my conservative cousins gaslit over here over DeSantis. Yeah. And look, my conservative friends, let me show you how they ran you through there. Right, so you can learn next time, right? Remember, Ms. Kell, when they started with the whole DeSantis and Soros and, oh my God, he's a Soros shill, and Soros endorsed him. So it put DeSantis on the defense, right? Against his own people after he had done so well in the previous election. People have to understand. Let's get this down to the point in the science where it's at, right? DeSantis did very well in the last election.
Yeah, he did.
He did his job by getting Democrats and those fence-sitting Republicans to vote for him in the largest margins of victory in over 25 years in the Florida gubernatorial race. Yeah. So now what do they got to do? They got to throw salt in the game, right? These Democrats got to throw salt in the game. So what did he do? Oh, Soros comes out. Well, DeSantis would be a better candidate than Trump. Oh, now it started pitting the people that supported DeSantis against the Trump supporters, against the MAGA crowd, right? So now they start scrutinizing, right, DeSantis and all these different things going on. Oh, no, wait, he's running around the country campaigning for president. No, DeSantis is going around the country literally raising money for the GOP. DeSantis has no interest in running for president. He has no interest in it because if he was, he would have already done so. He has no interest in running for president. And this is what these new partisan hacks have failed to realize. To us old heads that's been in this game for a long time, we see this. We see what's happening here.
It's all chatter. It's all chatter. They want to drum up a storm in a damn wash bucket so that they can pit Trump and DeSantis against each other. Well, you know, I'm sorry, but reality has to kick in at some point.
Yeah. Yes, it does. It's got to kick in somewhere.
But as far as Fort Lauderdale is concerned, what are they saying?
Well, they're just saying that DeSantis didn't show up for the constituents, right? He didn't show up.
How not?
Right. He was too busy on the campaign. This is what conservatives are saying, right? I'm seeing it all over social media right now. They're like, oh my God, DeSantis, he's trouncing around campaigning and he's not in Florida taking care of his people. I'm like, bitch, sit the fuck down a minute. You ain't down here. Again, I don't care. Look, if you took a foot of rain and dropped it in Phoenix, Arizona, that place would flood worse than Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, it would.
People have to understand that the storm drainage systems that are in place are, and this is all over the country. There are places that they're in place to to be able to take on the maximum amount of water over a longer period of time, not a short period of time. See, this is when people don't think outside of their partisan hat rack. A second. There's nothing DeSantis could have done about what's he going to do? Stand there and wade in flood water, which was receded when he got back down here, basically.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Y'all, listen. If you can't understand that you have been gaslit by the left to hate DeSantis, to push Trump into office, push him into the limelight, right? You cannot see the forest for the trees.
Well, and I want to point something out, okay? Because I live in an area that's very similar to Fort Lauderdale. It's sandy soil, okay? We get heavy rains here. You'll get 3, 4, 5 inches in an hour, no problem at all. When you get 12 inches in an hour, and you get more than 25 inches in a 12-hour period, that's a lot of water. It has to run off. It has to take its time in going into the groundwater.
Yes.
It's not an automatic thing. And there are no storm drains in the world that are going to handle that kind of water.
No, there isn't.
All you can do is wait for it to recede. And around here, it actually doesn't take that long. Because you do have sandy soil, and you also have runoff into the oceans and into the rivers and the streams. It doesn't take long for it to run off. I don't know why everybody's freaking panicking just because they had to shut the airport down for a little bit. It happens.
It's just, it's just the way they've tried to position this, politically, right? Yeah. The smear on DeSantis.
Everything is political.
But here's the thing, right? We got to call a spade like we always do, right?
Yeah.
The MAGA crowd sat here, right? Mm-hmm. They sat here and was like, oh, look at Joe Biden. This is happening. He hasn't spoke up about it. And he's done this the same way the left did Donald Trump, right? Mm-hmm. During his tenure. Oh, look, Donald Trump's doing over here doing this, and look at this red state governor. So it's all, when these people start understand, they're in that perpetual circle, right? You know that the perpetual circle of Spider-Mans that's pointing at each other. This is what you got. Liberals, you take liberals, conservatives, and progressives and put the Spider-Man suits on them. That's all of them pointing at each other, blaming each other for what someone else is not doing. And all the rest of us are on the outside of it like, y'all look like a bunch of damn fools.
Yeah. How can you lay blame for something that nobody controls?
Yeah. I mean, the governor cannot control that. I mean, that's like actually admitting to the theory that the government controls the weather. We know they do, but they would actually have to admit that at this point. If they're worried about DeSantis and Fort Lauderdale. Right? Like, come on now.
Who controlled the weather that day in Fort Lauderdale? Come on, y'all, fess up.
I know, right? Right. Someone needs to tell the truth out here. TROOF, the truth.
The truth. Tell me something good.
But again, my conservative cousins, please, you have to stop. Right. Yeah. And y'all are the logical ones out of this whole, out of the whole political paradigm. Y'all are supposed to be the real critically thinking ones, but you're not. You're allowing the left to gaslight you. You're allowing these liberals and progressives to gaslight you into thinking something completely different so they can run away with the show. They can get rid of DeSantis and Trump in the same, in literally in the same shot. but y'all can't
they're
see the
hoping.
forest for the trees.
Yeah. I really wish that people would take a little bit more time and sit back and think about these things before they go off on a knee-jerk reaction.
But hey, look, same thing with this Teixeira kid.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more to that than we're being told. There is a lot more to that.
Look. Hey, you know what? Let's get into it. Let's call a spade on this one too, right? He's a patsy.
Yes,
He's a patsy for a cover-up.
Yep.
Right? I mean, they sat here trying to compare him to Edward Snowden. New York Times did, and then on the sly, turn around and edited the article, edited out like, come on, y'all already know. When you see stuff like this, I need people to really think about this a second, right? Yeah. This 23, 25-year-old, however old he was, he's supposed to have a TSSCI clearance, right?
Yeah, he's 21, yeah.
Right? But here's the thing, people, I need y'all to understand this. He only has access to the information that is available to his specialty.
Yeah.
He just doesn't, just because someone has a TSSCI clearance does not mean they see every freaking thing that's under that classification. I'm sorry. There's bells and whistles and honk and circles and dots and eyes and cards and everything you got to go through to get into that information.
Everything that is top secret is on a need-to-know basis. If you don't need to know it, you don't get to see it.
That's exactly correct. So I need people to really sit back and check this out. I'm gonna twist something else. I'm gonna tie something else into this too, because this is part of it. Mm-hmm. And I hate, y'all know I hate being a visionary, but I'm gonna tell you about it, right? The guy, this Teixeira kid, put these things on Discord.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And then on, what was it, Instagram or something? Yeah.
Now watch this. You ready, Miss Kell? Y'all ready for this?
Sure.
What is Senate Bill 686?
Bingo.
Didn't we just talk about Senate Bill 686 last Monday?
Yep, we did.
Right.
Actually, you did. I was sick.
Oh, yeah. Right. But didn't we talk about Senate Bill 686? How they want to take control of social media to basically monitor what is said and and what's not said? This is the perfect case for that.
Yep. And that's exactly what I thought when they announced that they had caught this kid. Because, I'm sorry, they still haven't tracked down the leaker of the 12 suspects in the Supreme Court for the Dobbs decision. They still haven't tracked that down. But they can go through millions of pages of social media and track this kid down because they matched the marble on his kitchen countertop, really. Seriously here, folks?
Yeah, seriously. No, you can do that.
This kid's a patsy. Oh, I know you can do it,
right.
But within how many hours?
Look, check this out. You know what else was odd too? They rolled up on this kid in combat gear. I don't know if y'all caught the video, but go back and watch the video of this Teixeira kid's arrest, right?
Yeah.
The people that arrested him was in full combat gear. They weren't in police gear or law enforcement gear. They were in combat gear.
Combat gear. Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Myself.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. What? Wait. Yep. But here's the other thing. They still haven't addressed why they lied that they think the leak came out of Fort Bragg.
Yeah. Because this kid's over in he's over
Massachusetts.
In the Cape Cod area.
Yeah, the base that he was at is connected to the 102nd Intelligence Wing. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Let's go down this road a second, right?
That's not nowhere near Fort Bragg, yo.
If that kid got access to this information because the 102nd Intelligence Wing is in Massachusetts at Joint Base Cape Cod, right? First of all, The wing commander is up shit creek without a paddle. His assistant is up shit creek without a paddle. Now, mind you, this is intelligence. What business did he have, even outside of maintaining servers or network integrity? What business did he have accessing into servers that was basically beyond him?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, even because people, let's put this in context, right? People in Congress has the S clearance. They have an S clearance. They have a secret clearance, period. There's things they can see this, that, and third, et cetera, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But they just can't walk up, right, and go to a Department of Defense server and say, I need to see this.
No. Right?
The only people in Congress can do that are the permanent select committees on intelligence in both the Senate and the House, because they have TSSCI clearance.
Yeah.
Right. Some of those members of the intelligence committees have what's called Yankee White. Yeah. Right. Which is just a designation. Basically, they can be around the president at all times, et cetera, et cetera. That's why you see certain people around the president at certain times, because they have Yankee White clearance. I mean, don't think just because you're a member of Congress that you automatically get access to the president. That's not how this works. No. Right. No, but anyway, we digress from that point a second. Right now, I'm still wondering how they're going to circle back this Fort Bragg thing.
I'm real curious about that, because I know that the system that he was supposed to be using, this JWIC system, is pretty much what is it, DOD or Department of Defense wide, and I know that the Pentagon can get into, or not the Pentagon, but the DOJ can get into it as well.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
But you're talking about two different service branches. Fort Bragg is Army.
Right. Right. And he was Air National Guard. Yeah, he's Air National Guard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's an E2. How the hell is he getting clearance to get into any of this at all? I understand his clearances, okay?
Right.
But that's not his job.
Right. Right. Now, let's go to the flip side of this a second, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody, watch this. If heads don't roll with that wing commander, right? Yeah. We know. Let me say this. The head's going to roll, but I bet you secretly he's going to be reassigned.
Probably.
Secretly, he'll be reassigned somewhere. He or she will be reassigned somewhere else, this guy. Whoever the wing
probably
commander
be a drop-in rank and a reassignment, yeah. Right. I doubt
that would be in the way of... I wouldn't even see a drop of rank, because, look, we don't even know who the wing commander is. We don't know who the wing commander is, so they don't have to do anything. True. Right?
That's true.
These intelligence wings, we don't know who they are.
No, You're right.
So there will not be a drop in rank or a drop in grade. They're just going to shift him somewhere else out of the limelight and put somebody. Yeah, we fixed the problem. We put somebody else new in there so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, or offer the person early retirement and just get them out of the way completely. You've done your job.
Possible as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But here it just strikes me that, again, the media gaffed on something major. I'm going to go there a second, right? Just like they gaffed on January 6th.
Yeah.
Putting out articles before the breach ever happened saying that the Capitol had already been breached. They goofed that. They goofed this. This is what I'm saying. People that really pay attention to this mainstream media stuff and take it to heart instead of with a grain of salt, you are being played.
Well, I'm also curious about something. Going back to Teixeira and the reports that have come in on him.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so he's religious. He loves guns. What 21-year-old kid doesn't? And supposedly he's a racist. With that kind of clearance, do you honestly think they're going to allow someone who is a known racist to have that kind of clearance? That's a fault they would not allow.
But see, here's the thing. I don't care if you're a racist.
No. What I'm saying is all of that would come out in his background check.
It could, yes.
Me when I tell y'all, and Rod knows this from past experience as well. When they do a top secret clearance background check on you, they talk to your family, they talk to your neighbors, they talk to your friends, they talk to your damn high school teachers, and if they need to, they go back to middle school.
Yep.
They talk to your employers. They talk to everyone who ever met you.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
How would that not have come out?
But even with that, right? Even with that, let's take that racist thing out of context a second, right? Out of the conversation,
it's thrown in there to
exactly
its name.
Exactly, that's exactly. Oh no, because that also strengthens there's white supremacists in the military narrative, right?
Exactly,
so
and they're going to use that as an excuse for this.
Yep. So it's a twofer. It's a twofer. Mm-hmm.
It is for them. Until they realize that people have figured it the hell out.
Well, shit, it didn't take us long to figure it out.
It's not going to do any good, but yeah. I mean, just figuring it out doesn't stop it from happening.
I mean, it's completely like we live in such a gaslit political paradigm right now in this country. It's ridiculous. We have literally, as a country, taken the materials the government has force fed us and built our own cages. But instead, it's not our own individual cages. It's a collectivized cage.
Yeah.
Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. Right?
Yeah.
And then we have these subsects, right? We have these subsects within this embargo we've placed upon ourselves. We have self-embargoed ourselves, right? Because now what we have is you have the quote unquote crayon box a second white folks that are liberals, the white folks that are progressives, and the white folks that are conservative, and white folks that are libertarian, and the white folks that don't give a damn. We have the black folks that are all the same way.
Yeah.
Right? In the same boxes. Now, when someone from another box does something to someone in another box, regardless of the color of the box, right? Everybody is outraged in that particular box.
Yeah.
Right? It's that you can't do that to them, but we can do it to them.
Exactly.
Right?
Stay off of our side of the street, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go on the don't go on the other side of the tracks. Right? And this is where we are.
At that point, it's stay off of our side of the street.
Yeah.
You stay on your side of the street, we'll stay on ours.
Yeah.
Don't mess with nobody over here.
Right. That's exactly correct. And that's where we are politically. But then they've allowed the big puppet master called government, right? That basically pays off the RNC and the DNC to drop acid into all of these little boxes to drive everybody crazy. Right? So now, and whoever they want to fire up at that moment, they drop an extra hit of acid in that box on them. Oh no, I can't believe the outrage. Just like people, like watch this, right? You know that the new outrage, the new outrage on social media is now Clarence Thomas resigned over the GOP. Oh, he got free gifts. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And I'm sitting here, I was like, y'all crying about people resigning. Let's stay on principle. I don't see you asking Congress to resign because they paid that money out that slush fund for hoes, hookers, and sexual assault victims. Come on now. I mean, let's keep it G around here. Right? Don't come out with your full outrage because he is a judge and he's not elected. I don't care if he's not elected or not. The principle still applies. You're asking someone to resign. You can ask your Congress member to resign also, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, we can't vote him out.
Ask them to over this whole Ukraine thing.
Hello. But here's the thing, right? And this is again where the partisan hackery comes into play, right? Oh no, it's not our team. But see, again, conservatives. See, my conservative friends, I'm talking to you now. I'm not going to scold you this time, but I'm going to put you on game on how they've gaslit you and then got you to shut up at the same time, right? Look at how they try to drag y'all, right, on this DeSantis thing. Hey, look over here, and y'all looked over there. Y'all ain't said shit in defense of Clarence Thomas.
Nope.
Y'all ain't said shit in defense of Clarence Thomas. I mean, I understand the cliche of walking and chewing gum at the same time. Right now, y'all just chewing gum.
Well, I'm really curious about something because I noticed that what everybody's all hot and bothered about is the fact that he sold property down in Savannah. It was his mama's property and his late brother's property down in the Sandfly area.
Yeah.
Is he not allowed to sell property now?
Right. That's exactly it. Oh, he didn't report it. What?
Why should he have to? I'm sorry, do you report every damn property sale you make?
Well, he's part of the bureaucracy, so we have to know everything that he's doing. He doesn't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. No, he doesn't. But when it comes to his personal finances, he has the right to privacy there. That does not extend into that space. And this is what these dumbass liberals and progressives do not understand. You do not have privy to that information.
Yeah.
You can kiss my ass. I don't care. But see, here's the thing, conservatives. This is where you need to take that arrow and shoot it through their heart. Because you remember, they've been coming out to Clarence Thomas since the Roe v. Wade thing. Don't forget that. I mean, look, y'all sat here and defended Clarence Thomas because they called him a coon, or Uncle Tom, and everything under the sun but a child of God. Right? But y'all right now are not coming to his defense right now.
Nope.
Because you've allowed the left to gaslight you into this. You need to be just as loud back then as you are now to defend that man. And this is what I talk about. This is why we call a spade around here.
Yeah.
And we call it what it is. Like, I'm sorry, that other team, those other two teams out there, they're a bunch of dumbasses, and you need to be on top of them at every single turn, or they're going to keep winning the battles that are underneath and take their carpet from underneath your feet if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. You know, this whole thing with Clarence Thomas and selling properties, I'm sorry. Were his properties to sell, what's your issue?
Right.
Stay the hell out of his private business.
He got money. He got money from a big GOP donor.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was $133,000, I think they said. Do you know what properties in the Savannah area are going for?
Yeah. Yeah.
$133,000 is a pittance. That is not a lot.
Not at all.
Especially down in the Sandfly area, which is real booming right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
That is not a lot of money. So I don't know where anybody gets off saying, oh, well, he got a bunch of money from so-and-so. I don't give a shit what you think that is. It ain't a lot of money. Honey, you couldn't buy my house right now for $133,000.
Look, these are probably people that have never held no more than $2,000 in their hand at one time.
Yeah, probably.
Right, and that's just, and I'm gonna call a spade on this one, right? Yeah. But these are the same people, right? Watch this, Kel, because this is gonna segue right into the other article we're gonna talk about too, right?
Okay.
These same people talk about how Republicans want to pass laws and tax breaks for their rich buddies when the rich buddies are actually Democrats.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
I found that information rather fascinating.
Oh, please do tell why you found it fascinating.
There is an article in standingforfreedom.com. IRS data shows that Democrats, not Republicans, are now the party of the rich. Like we didn't know that before. Limousine liberals sound familiar?
Martha's Vineyard liberals sound familiar?
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not trying to upset the apple cart, but the apple cart is already out of apples, so...
Yeah. Well, turning it over at this point ain't gonna hurt nobody, is it?
Ain't nothing in it.
Well, they're saying that, you know, the large majority of those making $500,000 or more actually vote Democrat.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
65% of taxpayers with a household income of $500,000 or more were in Democrat districts, while 74% of taxpayers with a household income of $100,000 or less were in Republican districts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You want to know something else that's interesting too? Along with that, I was also I found a piece. Where did it go here? I got it here somewhere. Hold on. Let's see. Where is it at?
Well, I just thought it was interesting because
Here we
some
go.
Democrats are pushing for the removal of President Trump's cap on tax deductions,
Mm-hmm.
which would benefit the 1%.
Right, and they are the partner. So here's something else
Yeah.
interesting. And this article comes out of Axios, right? And, and we know Axios is a little left leaning, but Axios has been doing some decent work lately. So I got to give them props where they do. Right? There's this article on Axios called "Dramatic Realignment Swings Working Class Districts to GOP," and in the article it says 9 of the 10 wealthiest congressional districts are represented by Democrats, while Republicans represent most of the poor half of the poor half of the country. 64% of congressional districts with median incomes below the national median are represented by Republicans.
Yeah. And I'm not shocked by that.
Mm.
I'm not shocked by that at all.
Well, now watch this. This same Twitter thread I was in, right? Oh, you're going to get a laugh out of this one, Miss Kel.
Uh-oh.
This guy goes by Georgia. What's it? Their screen name? Yep, I'm gonna call their screen name out because that's how I do. Georgia Richard, right?
Okay.
This Georgia Richard claims, I'm a woke mathematician and a stable genius. I'm a liberal member of the resistance and a patriotic veteran. Hashtag vote blue, hashtag BLM, hashtag LGBTQ. Right? Now watch this.
Then he's not a stable genius. Sorry.
Watch this. So this person says, right after Batya Ungar Sargon posts that article, and I was like, oh, okay, pretty cool. And I had basically mentioned, I had asked also, I wonder what the correlation is between ethnic demographics and economic background. I would love to see a correlation of that in those districts that are the 10 wealthiest. Now, this person said, check this out, yet the Republican Party caters to the rich and corporations and ignores those with low incomes. I frequently drive through Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and other red states, and where I see Trump with a big R lowercase t flags, the most are in ramshackle trailer parks and other poor neighborhoods. What's the disconnect? So I sent them that article we're talking about right now, and they were like, what's your point? And I'm like,
let me put this guy on blast here a minute. I live in Jim Clyburn's district in South Carolina. Okay? I live in Jasper County. Now, Jim Clyburn's district also includes places like Hampton and Allendale counties. Allendale County is one of the poorest counties in the country. It's in a Democrat district. And I would be willing to bet that if you go through Florida, Georgia, and into North Carolina, you're driving right through this district.
Yep.
So do not tell me that all of these poor people are the ones who are having the Trump flags out in front of their houses. Trust me, there are enough Democrats to make up for it in poor districts.
Yep.
They're not all red districts, honey.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly, and that's the thing, and that's what these partisan hacks don't understand is when they sit here and they play into the partisanness, you're enriching. You know, you end up enriching these people.
Yeah.
By doing this, I mean. So if 9 of 10 of the wealthiest congressional districts are Democratic, and 64% of the national median and lower are Republican districts, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Right. Here's another fact that was in this article too. The data also shows that 65% of taxpayers with a household income of $500,000 or more were in Democrat districts, while 74% of taxpayers with a household income of $100,000 or less were in Republican districts. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now this is
and that's the thing that fascinates me because, like I said, this is one of the poorest districts in the state overall. I know that at least one of our counties is one of the poorest counties in the country, and it's a Democrat district. We're an anomaly.
Yeah.
But you're also talking rural South Carolina. You're not talking up around Charlotte in Mecklenburg County and that.
Yep. And here's the thing, right? And this even goes back, and in this article, Mr. Nathan, appreciate you for writing this article and standingforfreedom.com. He brings up a good point about FDR, right? Because FDR and the Democrats claim that we're for the working man, right? When it was the Democrats, right, that created policy that one segregated by ethnic background, chastised by ethnic background, and then removed those working men and women, right, that were agrarians, right?
Yeah.
Had them give up their land, their farms, to come to your shitty ass cities to not get a fair shake.
They were promised a lot, but it was never, that promise was never fulfilled.
Nope.
The great migration from the south to the north to work in the cities, to work in the factories. You know what? Those ladies and gentlemen never got rich. They they barely made enough money to sustain themselves. Mm-hmm. And in a lot of ways, they'd have been better off staying in the South.
Yep. And that's the biggest, that this is what these people don't understand, right? The Democrats claim that they're agrarian, right? And all that. It's like, no, you're not even close to it. You're a bunch of limousine liberals and pussyfied progressives.
Well, and if they're really agrarians, why are they chasing the farmers out from the Memphis area? The black farmers.
Right. Let's don't go there with that smoke. Let's not also talk about how armed men are trying to get Amish farmers to stop farming in traditional manners.
Yep.
Let's don't talk about that either. But Democrats are for agrarians, right? And we're talking about them on their watch, right? Now they're going to attempt to prosecute Norfolk Southern now for this East Palestine thing.
Good luck.
Huh? They're going to. Warren Buffett is saying they mishandled that. Wait, Warren Buffett has money in Norfolk Southern, so he's trying to do the plausible deniability. You ain't slick, Mr. Buffett. We're going to keep moving on there a little bit, but now we're going to start talking about holding people accountable. Democrats on your watch, right? Straight up on your watch, Democrats. Let's keep this real. And I don't like going down the partisan pocket, but we're here, and I might as well stay down in there. Every literal natural disaster that has happened, or I'm sorry, man-made disaster that has happened in the United States, has happened on y'all's watch.
Yeah.
Right? Flint water, your watch. Jackson water, your watch.
Yeah.
New Orleans levees, your watch.
Yeah.
Huh? The Paradise fire, your watch.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
I can run down through here all day.
There's a whole list, and it doesn't end there, because we just had a barn fire out in the Panhandle of Texas that killed 18,000 head of dairy cattle.
Yep. How does that even happen?
18,000 head.
How does that happen?
That's my question. Unless it's eco-terrorism, I don't know of a way for that to happen.
Somebody tried to tell me, well, moldy hay will combust. Really?
Not that quickly.
Come on. Wait, hold on. Even if it's even that quickly, it's that much hay laying around to be in a bundle, right? That tight to cause that kind of, because these people think this guy thought I was stupid. I'm some stupid brown kid, right? From God knows, from a city somewhere. I said, no, I'm not a city slicker, bruh. I ain't crazy, right? I've worked on a farm. I know, right? Like, look. You're not going to sit here and tell me that moldy bales of hay just all of a sudden combusted and killed 18 head of cattle. No, bullshit.
18,000, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bullshit. And
injured one worker. How How is that even? They were driving the cattle in for the milking, and one employee was injured, and 18,000 head were incinerated.
Yeah, no, this
doesn't make any sense to me.
Look, miss me with all the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's anybody that believes this was not a eco-terrorist moment. I will actually get the deed to that land where that cattle died and sell you the deed to that land.
Yeah. Look, and the fact of the matter is we've been dealing with this for a while and nobody has really paid much attention to it. All of the fires that have been happening at food plants over the last, 2 years that we've been counting? All of the fires at food processing plants, at packaging plants, at distributing plants. There is no way on God's green earth all of this is accidental.
Right.
It's gone from nudge to shove. We're in the shove phase now. How long before they start shooting?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't mean to get really dark on y'all guys, but it's like... I saw that report and I about flipped out because I'm like, 18,000 head. That is a lot of cattle. That is a huge herd.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell you're going to kill all of them at once. Not without something drastic.
Right. That was a hell of an explosion.
Yeah, it was. And in a dairy barn?
Yeah, out of all places, in the middle of nowhere, in a dairy barn. Come on, man.
Yeah. And to answer the whole thing about moldy hay, let me put it this way. You're not going to see a whole hell of a lot of hay and straw on the floor of a dairy barn. Okay, because of FDA rules and regulations.
Yep.
You're not going to see a whole lot of moldy hay in the feed bins because again, FDA regulations.
Yep.
So I am completely discounting the moldy hay theory.
USDA. That's USDA.
USDA, my bad.
Yep.
My bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, you're right. And that was one of the points I brought up to the individual too that tried to hit me with that. And I had to duck and dodge that like the Matrix. Like, are you kidding me? I had to do a Neo.
The thing is those are concrete floors and they're hosed off after each milking.
Yeah.
They have to be.
Yep. Sure do, but that moldy hay caused an explosion. We don't know what caused the explosion.
I don't buy that for
we don't know what caused the explosion at a milking place in the middle of mid America that killed 18 head of cattle. But we can find a kid in the Air National Guard within 3 to 4 days that was supposedly connected to Fort Bragg, but ended up being at Joint Base Cape Cod over some intelligence leak. Come on, someone make it make sense for me. Come on through now.
Right.
We can find all this shit.
Now look, we can find all this shit, but we still can't figure out who leaked the Dobbs decision.
Yeah, like come on, y'all really out here believing the hype, huh? Y'all out here believing the hype. Now, and here's the other thing too, right? Speaking of the hype, Justin Pearson and this Jones guy got reappointed to their seat. And these clowns out here, man, look here. They out here in the street hooping and hollering and everything else, and I'm sitting here like I'm watching these two cats on the screen, and I'm sitting here. And those of you that don't know that don't know Tariq Nasheed, y'all should go check him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tariq Nasheed. Now he's controversial as fuck, and he says some crazy shit. But let me tell you something. Sometimes that brother be spot on. Sometimes, right? I was sitting here, going back and forth with this cat on Twitter about the Pearson thing, and people in the comments are talking about, he up here code switching. I say, he ain't code. This Pearson guy is not code switching. If he's code switching, watch this, Miss Kel, for these white folk out here.
Yep.
He's changing the cadence of his voice, his inflections in his voice for white people to make them feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Right? He don't talk to regular black folk like that, because people like me look at him like, you fucking crazy? The fuck you think you at, 1964, motherfucker?
I was going to say, what was it Jeff said? Martin Luther nerd?
Yeah, that was Adam Coleman. Martin Luther nerd. Yeah, it was Jeff.
But that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to be a throwback to Martin Luther King, and I'm sorry, sir, that is not going to happen.
But here's the thing.
You are not that talented, and you are certainly not driven by God.
Look. Like I said, he ain't code switching, right? He is being, watch this. He is being the patsy, right, for white supremacy, as we call it, sticking in the crayon box, right? Because I'm sorry, you're not gonna send this guy into the front of the line unless you want something from quote unquote black people. And this is what they've done with these two individuals, that send them to the front of the line, right? Right? Send them to the front of the line and say, hey, look at these two young black men. This is how you should be to get into politics. Sit your ass down somewhere.
The one from, what was it, Nashville? Jones,
yeah.
Yeah, this is how you should get into politics, by standing on cop cars, jumping all over it, and, threatening drivers and shit like that. That's what you should do to get into politics. Really? Seriously?
Hey, we not even, look.
I mean, I am going to bring it up because I'm sorry.
I know you are.
If you a thug, you always going to be a thug.
Hey, you know what? That doesn't disqualify you from serving in the legislature. That's just
it doesn't disqualify you a bit.
Right?
But I can guarantee you your tactics are never going to change.
Nope. Sure enough ain't. And they might be sitting in there while appointed until a special election is called. Mm-hmm. Right? So their time is already limited. Right?
Well,
but
we'll see.
Look, like I said before, and like I said, I'm surprised I aligned with Brother Tariq on this one. These are the new agents of white supremacy that they're trying to throw at us, trying to take us back into a time where the cadence, and even all the Democrats do this, right? You ever notice that, right? If you listen at this Pearson guy and what he's doing, then go listen at Kamala Harris just recently. Then go listen at AOC, how she did that on the stage, and Hillary, yes. These Democrats, all they're trying to do is pander to a base of people, which is the older crowd, because that's the cadence they grew up with, right? The crowd like my parents' age, my mother's age, my stepfather's age, right?
Yeah.
That went through that era with Martin Luther King and John Lewis. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like,
well, and a lot of your older black preachers, yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, y'all just let them sit by and get by with that. Like, y'all just think this shit's cool, right? Next thing you know, you have black folk coming out of the woodwork like, oh, look, a massa ain't gonna like that. Oh, y'all better go and hush your mouth, go on in the house here. Cause I tell you, massa gonna get you. That's where we're gonna be at here in a minute. If we keep doing this, we're gonna completely digress back to a time we shouldn't even be in. But they say, but watch this. But they say, people say, you can't bring up the past, don't live in the past. And they're sending people in front of you that are inflecting the past.
Yeah. Well, they're attempting to change it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. It is outright disgusting. I don't care which way people look at this, or it is where it's at.
Yeah, it is. You know, and the fact of the matter is when you have to fake your way through a legislative session, when you have to fake your way into being a candidate at an actual elected member of the legislature, that's a shame. That's a crying shame. You're not there to serve anybody but yourself.
Look, no. He's there to serve.
I'm sorry, you're right. He's there to serve a narrative. I understand that.
Yes.
But he's doing it for his own personal gain.
Oh, it is, right? Because here's the thing, right? When this cat was on a Breakfast Club the other day, y'all know the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God and
Charlemagne the God, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he was on it, and Teslin Figaro was on there. Those of y'all follow on to y'all know who Teslin is. She's just like outspoken. She was a Bernie supporter. She's an independent, but she keeps it gangster when it comes to the politics. Like you need to keep it straight. You said you're going to come here and do this. She holds your feet to the fire, like a lot of us do. We hold your feet to the fire to what you said. So she asked him specifically. Watch this, Ms. Kell. She asked him. You said, you're going to get in the office and do for black people. What are you going to do for black people? Mm-hmm. So he goes down, well, you know what? He said one of the concerns is to stop injustices, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, okay, cool, right? And then she asked him flat out, do you think black people deserve reparations? Okay. Watch this twist. He sits there and says, reparations, reparations is it's a thing, but it's not the most important thing to black people. Then he flips and says, environmental justice is more important to black people. Bitch, what?
Oh, good God.
Wait, bitch, what? Wait a minute. Oh, hold up. How you switch, right? You get squirmy. Right, you get squirmy when quote unquote. Remember, y'all, we're in a crayon box, right? And don't take it. You know what I'm saying? But we have to address it like this because this is how this cat's acting, right?
Yeah.
He's going to ask you an issue that is specifically that Black America has talked about, reparations, and you want to deflect to some white supremacist agenda called environmental justice.
Yeah.
Like, really? Is this what we're doing? Oh, and then we gotta make sure that the gun violence affects also black people. What?
What?
Wait. And I get it. But again, he is talking on the agenda off of the back of the Covenant school shooting.
Yep,
right?
He is.
Right? Not one time either one of these brothers talked about the brother that was killed in the school. He's just defending the white people and the gun. Right? That's what he's doing. But he wants to try to pawn it back on, gun violence affects black people. I'm sorry. You're not Brother Pearson. You ain't paying attention. Right? No. What they're trying to do is take what they call an assault rifle out of white people's hands, right? The same racist agenda they used against black people to keep guns out of their hands. They're using this semi-automatic rifle, and you are perpetuating the white supremacy that you're claiming to fight.
Bingo. And the fact of the matter is by taking it out of white people's hands, you're taking it out of black people's hands too, and brown people's hands.
Yeah. And that's it.
Because the Second Amendment knows no color, y'all.
No, it sure enough doesn't. But and for him to sit there and say that, and I'm just like, you are all, and these are the faces, right? Yeah. These are the faces of white supremacy that is going to usher away your rights.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to usher away your rights and convince you it's a good thing to do. Completely
and they're
opposite.
Do it trying to sound like Martin Luther King.
And look. 1964, look, is only 51 years ago? No, let me take that back. No, 57 years ago. I'm sorry. 57 years ago. I'm sorry. I can't count. Yep. I went to school in the South. 1, 2, 3. But
1, 2, 3, 4.
But literally just 57, 58 years ago, right? Yeah. Every American was guaranteed equal rights under the Constitution, and you got Gen Z nerds like this guy and this Jones guy, right? And these other white kids out here that get behind them, like this Harry Sisson guy, right? Yeah. Yep. Fox News. They tried to roast me. They ain't trying to roast shit, Harry. You roasted your fucking self by opening your fucking mouth about shit you don't know shit about. But anyway, I digress, right? Here's the thing, right? It's cats like them. They think Gen Z is so powerful. We're going to change the country. You're going to be the ones on your fucking knees when people like me and Kel and Val and Pam and Christy and all the other people that are liberty defenders are gone. You'll be on your knees. Like literally, these people are going to walk us into the Great Leap Forward 2.0. They're going to walk us right into it.
let's put it this way. They're going to be the ones crawling on their lips across glass just to be able to say, thank you, sir. May I have some more?
Mm-hmm. They don't even realize it. They think they're going to build a just society. But
Yeah.
Again, and you know what else? Before we go pay bills in a second, here's something that's interesting too, right? Mm-hmm. I started reading back through how Mao killed over 50 million people and didn't lift a single gun.
Yeah.
Right? The Great Leap Forward. Y'all go read that. The Great Leap Forward. Right?
It makes for fascinating reading.
Right?
It makes for terrifying reading is what it does.
What we're going through right now is exactly that.
Yes, it is.
It's not the great, they call it the Great Reset. They're trying to be, oh, it's just the great, no. This is the Great Leap Forward 2.0.
Yeah.
China
American
knows
style.
it. Yeah, China knows it. That's why China and Russia are teaming up.
Yep.
So they can put the carpet from underneath us. Because look, we had the cows, right? Then we had another incident in Arkansas last year where a bunch of cows died.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The chicken plant on fire.
Oh, bunch of chicken plants, yeah.
Right? So
But just recently, there was a chicken plant that it was a plant of egg layers. Yeah.
Watch this.
Millions of birds.
Watch this, Kel. Mm-hmm. What was Obama's slogan? What was his last campaign slogan that stuck with everybody?
What, hope and change?
What's the other one?
I don't know.
Forward.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then look what happened during his presidency.
Forward into the abyss, y'all. Forward into the abyss.
The national debt skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hillary Clinton was supposed to continue the Great Leap Forward.
Yep.
Got interrupted by Trump. Mm-hmm. They had to find a way to get Trump out of there. They failed twice, so they literally screwed up an election on purpose. And then this guy, he's not half competent to carry out the plan.
Oh, honey, he's not competent enough to find his own breakfast. Are you kidding?
So he's got puppet masters in the background.
Yes, he does.
Right? You even have puppet masters going over to Africa, trying to tell Ghana, white. Did y'all hear about, speaking of Ghana, did you hear about that new quid pro quo? Did you hear about that? Oh, $50 million to Ghana if you teach trans shit. That's what Kamala Harris said, basically. Ghana's like, get the fuck out of here.
Good.
They're like, what the fuck do we look like? What do you look like? What, are you serious? They're like, we'd rather do business with China.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, the thing is China is not trying to change their culture.
Yeah. There's like, we're not going to treat. I think I actually have the audio to it. I should play it when we come back from break. What this guy said about the United States trying to bribe them into teaching the trans agenda in their country in the name of human rights. Like, no, bitch, we got our own way of life over here.
We've been trying this all over Africa, though. We tried it in Rwanda last year.
Yeah.
And wasn't it Kenya also that got hit with that particular proposal?
Yep, it was Kenya too. Yep.
I mean, this is not the first time we've tried this mess. It's stupid. We need to. Oh my God! It's like I've said before. Foreign aid, nope, done. Cut it out. We're not helping anybody. We're trying to nation build, and it's not working. It never works.
No, it doesn't. It never does.
I mean, you look at it. How much money did we give to Egypt, and now they're looking to ship munitions over to Russia?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, nation building, y'all. Breakfast of champions for idiots.
Yeah, that too. That too. We got to run a break real quick. When we come back, if we can get that audio loaded, we'll get that audio loaded up. But if not, the second hour, we're going to talk about protecting the kids. It's going to get pretty pretentious. So I hope you got your thinking caps on and your open mind on, because we're going to go and get it in on everybody on this one here. Because at the end of the day, we have to protect the children, because the children are our futures. And how the song goes. But anyway, we'll be back here on Southern Liberty here in 6.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks fell for the day, but were up for the week as worries about interest rates offset blockbuster earnings results from big U.S. banks. The Dow falling 143 points, the Nasdaq down 43, S&P 500 down 9. And J.P. Morgan Chase's earnings defying a crisis in confidence in the banking sector. J.P. Morgan posting a 52% increase in first quarter profit and record revenue, and Citigroup's profit was boosted by higher interest rates and the sale of its India-based consumer business, and its stock jumped. However, Wells Fargo stock fell despite beating sales and profit targets in the first quarter. And Best Buy is cutting store jobs across the country as the electronics retailer works to lower costs and shift its business towards e-commerce. This week, many workers that specialize in selling more complex products like computers and smartphones were informed that their jobs would be eliminated. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
The Fearless and Proud podcast series looks at acts of bravery and strength by women. And in the first season, we'll look at women who played important roles in the Civil War. Episode 1. In this first episode, we will look at how the outbreak of the Civil War changed the lives of women, their status, altered their roles, and gave them new opportunities in the process. We'll hear about their motivations, love, money, patriotism. Listen ad-free on Fox News Podcasts via Apple Podcasts, and Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on Amazon Music.
A primary preview. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The annual NRA convention kicked off today in Indianapolis with many Republican presidential hopefuls in attendance trying to win over gun owners.
The issue of gun control was front and center today in the wake of mass shootings in Louisville and Nashville. Former President Donald Trump argued that Democrats aren't doing enough to stop them.
Democrats in Washington continue to hold common sense school safety measures hostage to their radical gun control agenda, which in virtually all cases would do nothing to prevent attacks by demented and disturbed individuals.
Former Vice President Mike Pence, who has not announced a run, got a lukewarm welcome here in his home state with some loud boos mixed in as he took and left the stage. But he got a lot of applause when he argued that creating more laws on gun control isn't the answer.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Indianapolis. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he will not make a White House run. The Republican says it's not the right time for him and his family. As for an endorsement, he says that remains to be seen once the nominee is chosen.
I think they're looking for someone who can clearly articulate their vision for what parents ought to be doing to help their kids be successful in schools and how we take back crime from our streets and the cities. I don't know if that'll end up being President Trump that the American people choose, or if that's who our party will choose to be its nominee.
On Fox's special report with Brett Baer, this is President Biden has confirmed that he will run for re-election, saying an official announcement will come relatively soon. He made the comments during his trip to Ireland. He's now on his way back to the U.S. The Supreme Court is temporarily keeping in place federal rules that allow the use of an abortion drug while it takes time to fully consider the issues raised in a court challenge. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's what's trending now. You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox.
The accused killer of Cash App founder Bob Lee has appeared in a San Francisco courtroom.
The arraignment for 38-year-old Nima Momeni was continued to April 25th, so he did not enter a plea. And here is all that his legal team would say outside the courtroom.
The facts as to what occurred or did not occur will come out over time.
Robert Canny is the brother of Paula Canny, who was out of town but will be Momeni's lawyer from here on out. She's a high-profile attorney who worked on the Barry Bonds case and provided legal analysis for the Scott Peterson trial. Police say Lee's stabbing death was not a random crime and that Lee knew his killer. Nima Momeni is being held without bail. He faces 26 years to life if he is convicted. In San Francisco, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Retail sales were lower than expected, showing signs the economy may be cooling.
Americans pulled back on spending last month. Retail sales declined 1% in March, a larger drop than expected. It's a sign that higher interest rates and inflation impacted spending. However, because there are signs inflation is retreating, shoppers may have been able to buy things for less. Excluding autos, retail sales were down 0.8%. Analysts say lower tax refunds compared with last year were also a factor in March spending. Ginny Coselda, Fox News.
The Pittsburgh Penguins hockey team has reached an agreement with the historically black church to provide it development rights to 1.5-acre parcel of land near the church's former property. Bethel AME Church's old sanctuary was demolished along with much of the surrounding black neighborhood in the 1950s in an urban renewal project. The Penguins hold development rights to the area near the arena where they currently play. The church says public authorities compensated it in the 1950s for a fraction of its property's value. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Do you want to know what's trending now? You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. No payments and no interest for 6 months. This is a big deal. NetSuite by Oracle has never made an offer like this in its 22 years as the leading cloud financial system. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity across every department. In fact, almost 90% of finance leaders agree that NetSuite helps them reduce manual data entry time. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
Welcome back, Southern Liberty. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us this evening for the first hour, and hopefully you stay around for the last hour. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the show, make sure you come on through, go into your web browser and search up Southern Liberty. Pick a platform where you may or may not listen to podcast at, and click subscribe on there. You can also go to RoderickThreats.com and you can find it there, and you can subscribe from there. Also, if you're not part of the Southern Liberty family on Patreon, make sure you do come through and support the show there on the Patreon. You can go to RoderickThreats.com and you can find the Patreon link there, or you can just search on Patreon.com for Torch of Liberty Media. We are out there too, and everybody that already supports the show, the Liberty, appreciate y'all, love y'all 100%. Make sure you share it with your friends and family and all that good stuff, because you know we always have the hot takes and the takes you don't want to say or feel like saying. This is what we're here for. This is what we do, because, you know, we're trying to be outside the mainstream of politics and just give it to you raw, because other people can't give it to you raw, because obviously they got people pulling their little puppet strings to say a particular message a certain way. We ain't got time for all that, because the country is worth saving, and if we got to go through hoops and dangling fingers around like little puppets, then we're not going to save this country. We're going to let the puppet masters dictate to us what they want to do with the country. So we ain't doing that over in Southern Liberty. I greatly appreciate y'all 125,000%. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. I appreciate you, love you all around the world, especially my mainstayers. I love you. I appreciate you. All my folks in South Florida from Citrus County South, all my folks in Southeast Georgia from Glenn County down, Camden County over, you know what I'm saying, Ware County, Charlton County, Thomas County, and all y'all in the state of Utah. Appreciate y'all too for listening on the open airwaves. So we're talking about the whole this whole thing with this bribe, this quid pro quo. I'm going to play the video, then we're going to get into talking about the kids because this is about to get real intense. But I wanted y'all to, and mind you on this one here. This was kind of a quick job to try to get this right. So we're hoping the audio comes through appropriately, and then we can roll with it. But it should.
Closely. America right now comes to Tanzania,
Here we go.
Ghana, comes to Zambia with 16 million. And guess what? 16 million only for Zambia. The 16 million, ask me, what is it for? What is it for? For human rights. Across the river, China and Russia come into South Africa. Ask me for what? For what? For a military training and skills sharing of security. So the Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Strategies so that we can protect ourselves. So I want to say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda. Stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side. Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation. And for you as Americans to think that we really envy that when you have an anti-lesbian, anti-gay, LGBT principle, then tourists would drop. Let me correct that once and for all, Smooth. And cut and clip this, and it must be loud and clear. Are you saying to me that all the tourists are gay? And when you hear that this is a non-gay zone, tourism will suffer? Question number one. Question number two. Are you saying that we don't have a right to expressing ourselves as Africans? Question number three. If democracy means majority rules and majority votes against a principle, then why won't you allow that to become law? Are you saying the minority must manage the majority, or the majority must manage the minority? Then if that whole ideology is wrong, then take democracy in a nice black dustbin bag and throw it outside. Because what you are telling us is by the people, for the people, with the people, and all those slogans you hear, what democracy represents. If we are 10 in the room and 9 people say no, and one person says yes, democracy says you go with the majority. So if we say we want to make Africa democratic, and the demographics of our democracy says no, then why do you philosophically want to manipulate the will of the majority to favor the will of the minority? Then this is where it really gets confusing to me. Because you're selling me one thing, I understand this democracy, because it is based on the principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it comes to practice, no, you can't practice it like that. Then what do you want? Do you want democracy? You want anarchy? You want indigenous governance systems? You want meritocracy? Maybe let's find another way of governing ourselves. But the ideology of democracy being founded on majority rule does not count. Because the rule that runs the South African constitution right now is not majority count. I will go on record for being on your show and saying it loud and clear without mixing words. Put 100 people on an island and lock them away from everybody. Put 100 people on an island who are heterosexual. Those are homosexual. Come back after 50 or 20 or 30 years. On that island, you'll find graves with no living being there. On this island, you'll find 10,000 people growing and exploring and moving. So, having said that, we as a society, particularly as African society, we also as traditional people have a right to our self-preservation and continuity as a people. Alternative lifestyles must be practiced where they must be practiced, but the main agenda of societal drive must be left to the right, because even those that are on the left come from the right. I don't know if that makes sense to you. The conversation that we had for the same-sex marriages was very tricky for me, because it did not seek to address the core issue. Are we saying this is what the people want? Or are we saying this is what the international community wants? Point number one. Point number two, in the event that I decide as a heterosexual that I want to bring up my children in a heterosexual way, why does the homosexual want to stand on the path of my own children and how I want to institutionalize them, and then pollute them with what they want? If you want to pollute these children, make your own. Why come to the heterosexual and then dictate the ways of the homosexual? So who has got the right this time? Are you saying the rights rely with the homosexual, or the rights rely with the heterosexual? The balance needs to be found right there, that every citizen has got the right to life and decide how they want to run their lives and how they want to bring up their children, etc. And so ultimately we might end up with an Urania. Let's create a state where this can happen there, and those who want to live in this other space, they can move into that space, and we are free to choose to change.
It's a very deeper conversation, but and also especially
and we're giving it the time it demands. We're giving it the depth of thought that it demands, so that in the midst of just saying human rights, we don't become emotional over protect gay rights, protect heterosexual rights. Because when you protect homosexual rights, you also need to become respectful of the heterosexual. And when you're promoting heterosexual, you also need to protect the homosexual.
Not a single lie at all.
Like,
not one.
That is exactly how a liberty defender thinks. I just had to bring that up because a lot of Americans don't understand how the liberty movement is just not an American thing.
No, it's not.
Right? There's not a single lie detected in that whole thing. Right? And that goes into, that kind of segues into what we want to talk about when we're talking protecting the kids. We're going to protect the kids. We need to protect the kids, period. Right? Yeah. We need to equally apply the whole concept. Right? Starting with religion. No, religion should not be taught in schools in any form of capacity. Right? Zero. Because that in itself is a thing that should be taught at home. Yeah. Right? Now, if we're going to go all the way down the pipe with this, and we want to talk about true parental rights, then we need to stay on that path. I don't care if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, you're Baha'i, you're Jewish, you Hebrew, Israelite, I don't care what you are. Your religion does not go into that school. Now, a moment of silence in respect of people's beliefs, sure, fine. We can go down that road. But when you try to make it a particular denomination or the other behest of the parents, that's where you're wrong. And I know I always get heat from my Christian friends on this, but again, we want to talk about parental rights. We need to keep it even keel, because at the same time, we can't say we want Christianity in school, right? And those are our rights as parents, right? Yeah. And then talk about shunning what people believe, whatever, LGBT, right? Mm-hmm. Let's keep it consistent. Right? If you don't want that in the school, then you shouldn't want religion in school.
Exactly.
You shouldn't want the government to be in the school at that point. Because what you're asking for is government to be in the school. If you're trying to enforce one religion or another, or some practice or another, it takes government to get involved to make that happen.
Now, let me put a small caveat in here. When you are teaching about history and you're teaching about studies of different social groups, religion is necessarily going to come up. So teaching about the history of different regions of the world and the religions that they practiced is not out of line when it comes to education. We need to understand that as Americans, we were founded on Christian principles. You need to understand that the Chinese were founded on their principles, that the Middle Eastern nations were founded on their principles. and changed over at certain points in time. Okay? There's a difference between saying, okay, everybody bow your head and pray to God, and saying, okay, America was founded on Christian principles. There are two different things there. And we need to keep that in mind, both as parents and as educators. It's not the same thing.
I mean, I would even argue that we were also built on Muslim principles.
I would agree, and on Jewish principles, because you look at it, the three great religions, they're all based on the Old Testament.
That's correct. That's exactly correct.
So, I mean, Judeo-Christian, yeah, but Muslim is also in there because the Torah, I'm sorry, and the Quran and the Old Testament, they're pretty much the same damn thing.
Yep. And that's what people have to understand, right? And when we're, and that's a whole nother discussion when we talk about the definition of what state atheism is, right?
Yeah.
And how that's wielded in a way to admonish all the Abrahamic religions in its own little form, right?
Well, and the fact of the matter is the state atheism didn't come into play until what, the 60s and 70s?
Correct. That is correct. Yep.
You still have to teach history accurately, and you can't do that with state atheism involved at all.
Correct. Because if it is involved, you start demonizing, right? You start demonizing the big three.
Yeah.
Right? And we see it. We have this rise, right, in quote-unquote anti-Semitism, which doesn't, right? And then you have the rise of anti-Islam, and you have the rise of anti-Christianity. But here's the thing. The government openly admonishes Christianity openly.
Yeah.
But
they do.
But then they turn around, and you know what they do, right? Here's what they do. They turn around Muslim. Oh, okay. They're terrorists. Right? That's what they do. They're terrorists. We need a Muslim ban. Even though it wasn't a Muslim ban. But see how the left portrayed it to try to deflect from what they do, BDS movement that they have. See what they did? So that's their sneaky way. And you know the sneaky way how they be anti-Semitic and people don't see it under the radar? Remember during COVID how they tried to say the COVID was rampant at AIPAC? Remember that? At the beginning?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they try to blame the Hasidic Jews in New York for the spread of COVID.
Yep, I do remember that.
That's another sneaky way government does, using state atheism to disregard religion, right? But then become the anti or the antithesis of what they're supposed to be doing. This is how they do it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to point out here. State atheism is not atheism.
Correct.
Okay? State atheism is replacing the government with God.
Correct. Or the other way, replacing God with government. Right, replacing God.
Well,
right.
that's what I'm saying. They're conflating the two. It's one of those things where God is not government, trust me. And government is not a god.
Correct. So that is what we mean, what's meant by state atheism by definition, right? So they will use that and pit that. So now what we have is, now that they've homed in on that, now they start doing it by particular minority demographics, aka the trans community, aka the LGBT community. The government uses what they've learned by practicing state atheism, and they have applied it, right? Yeah. So now everything you do, if you don't date a transsexual, you are transphobic.
Yeah.
Huh? That's like saying if you want, Kel, if you will not date a quote unquote black man, you're a racist. What?
I have absolutely no need to date a lesbian. I have no need to date a trans person.
Yep.
I'm not gay, y'all.
Yep. That's the thing, right?
I just don't swing that way. And it's one of those things where if that makes me a homophobe, if that makes me a transphobe, then so fucking be it. Is what it is. Right.
That's exactly right. And look, the government has gone as far, right? Now, if we're gonna stay on Christianity a second, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking Christianity in the aspect of the two branches, right? Catholicism and Protestantism. And if you're not a Catholic, you are a Protestant by default, right? Now, explain how the government is going after Christianity. They're spying on the Catholic Church, right? See, this is what I'm saying. This is real time in your face.
They went so far as to put an FBI informant in the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Are you kidding me with this mess?
Yes. That's the exact. But people have again replaced, even if you don't believe in a God per se, right?
Yeah.
The government, right? Again, explaining what state atheism is the government has become God. Government has become that father figure, right? Remember when Obama said that the Americans cannot sort out their own affairs? That's what he meant, right? In context, he meant that government is going to be your daddy. Government is going to be your God. And I expect you to say, government, govern me harder, daddy. Right? That's what state atheism is. For those of you that are coming in from for the second half here, that's kind of what we're talking about, and we're kind of tying this back into the kids because the same technique they use for state atheism to push the hate that the government does against religions or different demographics, they're doing it with LGBT, but they're doing it on behalf of a smallest minority of our population against the majority.
Yeah,
is what they're doing.
The thing that really bothers me, okay, and I'm going to say this because we're talking about protecting our kids from this particular part of our lives. When you have the LGBT flag in the classroom, you're not celebrating lesbian, gay, bi, trans people. You're celebrating a government ideology. And I'm sorry, it's not a national flag. It's an activist flag.
Look,
it belongs nowhere near the schools. Nowhere near the schools.
Watch this. My friend Enrique Tarrio, right, was expelled from D.C. for burning a Black Lives Matter flag.
Yeah.
Y'all heard me.
Yeah.
He was expelled from D.C. for tearing down a Black Lives Matter flag. He didn't even burn the bitch.
Yep. He just tore it down.
And then now you got people out here, the rainbow flag, the pansexual flag, the MAP flag, and all those other flags that they find around. If you touch it, you go straight to jail. This whole shit that's going on right now reminds me of that Parks and Recs episode with that guy from Boricua. It's like the sweaters, the high price, right to jail. That's what I hear right now. That's what I hear, right to jail.
Right to jail. But look, I mean, but you can throw the American flag on the ground, stomp the hell all over it, and piss on it and burn it, and nobody can say a word. You are not allowed to say a damn thing about it.
Correct.
So you tell me, what is nationality and what is ideology?
That part.
I'm sorry.
There.
Ideology embodied in a flag has absolutely zero business in a classroom. Whether it be Black Lives Matter, whether it be the LGBTQ flag, whether it be the pansexual, whatever. Get it out of the classrooms. The kids do not need to know about this. That is up to the parents to teach them.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny? that you mentioned that, right? They put these ideologue flags in the classroom and tell, hey, this is the homosexual, this is the pansexual, this is Black Lives Matter, right? And then they turn around and say the stars and stripes are white supremacy.
Yeah. You should be scared of it.
Yeah, you should be scared of the of the 50 stars on the blue field, right? With the red and white bars going down the side, because it represents your people being in captivity for 400 years.
Or on the opposite side of the coin, your people oppressing their people.
For 400 years. And I'm sorry.
For 400 years.
I'm sorry. Slavery only existed under that flag for a total of 70 years. Not 400. 70 years. Not 80 years. Not 80 years. 400. Different flag. But people will conflate that to make their point. Right? And the North had already gotten rid of slaves by 1805.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not why we're here. Right? But again, if we're going to protect the children, and we have to follow through with respect to other people's beliefs. Right? Again, I'll state it again. No Christianity in the classroom, no Islam, no Judaism, no Hebrew, none of that. Any of that. Buddha, Tao, none of them cats.
Yeah.
Just like no LGBT, no pansexual, no MAPS, no HAPs, no hops and barleys, none of that. Y'all notice how I threw that in there, right? No hops and barleys, right? In the classroom. We got to be consistent when we come to this, right? We can't say, well, no, we'll do it because this is the norm. No, sorry. We have to get back to a point. We have to get back to being consistent on these things.
It is not the norm, and Loudoun County is guilty as hell of this. It is not the norm for boys and girls to use the same restrooms. They're talking about building unisex bathrooms for all of their schools in Loudoun County, Virginia.
And that's a hell no.
Okay.
That's a hell no.
That they've already had girls raped in the bathrooms. Do you want continuances of that?
Here you
because
go.
Look,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. We have gotten to the point where we're not only erasing women from everything, we're now erasing and disrespecting girls. You want to talk about suicides?
Not even suicide. You want to talk about the next biggest mass shooter in the country's ever seen? Do this.
No joke. Yeah.
Do this right here.
Yeah.
We're talking about protecting children, right?
Yeah.
And the child and the school is supposed to protect the child, right?
Supposed to.
But you're going to sit here and have a breeding ground of depression. You have a breeding ground of suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations, right? To a point where we have another Nashville shooter.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because some girl, you know what? And I hate to speak truth to power. I hate speaking certain truths to power, but I'm going to tell you, is a girl, I'm telling you, within the next 5 to 10 years, and I pray to God that I'm wrong.
I hope so too, but I think you're not.
It's going to be a female mass shooter, and she's going to top every single school shooter that we've ever had in American history, because she's going to fuck all of this. She's going to get raped in a bathroom or something, right? And she's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to my daddy's gun safe. I'm getting his guns out. I'm going to get all his handguns. I'm just going to go in and start waxing people. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And no one is at fault but this fucking government.
Yeah.
It's nobody's fault but these stupid ass quote unquote lefties that push this shit thinking it's A-OK on the mass, on 98% majority of people that, yes, they don't agree with it, but they tolerate it because we're all Americans together, and you want to keep shoving it in their face, and you're going to drive these people to start shooting up schools like this. And then what do you have? Now you're going to say, oh, white people are terrorists? No, bullshit. You created them. You created these people.
You created
just like
this monster.
It's the same principle that I apply when people talk about when all white people are racist. I'm sorry, you're going to continue. You're going to create racist when you keep telling white people they are racist, and they know they're not, right? Yeah. Or you tell them they're racist because they adopt brown skinned kids. These people, they're going to turn into racists, not want to fuck around with you because you keep telling them in their face, you're this, you're that. No, these people that do this shit is fucking stupid. They've lost their fucking rockers.
No, they believe so deeply in themselves that they think they're God. They don't have anything else to rely on, Rod.
No, they don't.
The only thing they have is the progressive and left ideology that says you have to put these people on pedestals, and if you don't, then you're a horrible, horrible person. You're a monster. You're just mean. This is the same generation that grew up with the participation trophies, and they're the ones that are getting us into this deep shit that we are not going to be able to get out of.
Here's the thing, and I wrote this on Twitter today. Right? And I'm just going to ad-lib it. But basically, conservatives need to wake up before it's too late.
Absolutely.
Right? Because, listen, the excuse, yep, conservatives, I'm about to roast all of you, and Republicans I'm about to roast all of you, but it's out of love and for a reason, right? You can sit here and say, oh, we have jobs. We have this. You can say that. You can say that all day long. But while you're sitting there saying, oh, we have jobs, we won't have time to activate, these fools are out here activating, pushing their ideology upon your children.
Yes, they are.
Showing up to a school board meeting is fine, but where are you on a Saturday standing on an overpass with a sign, right? For a couple of hours a day. There's 24 hours in a day. You can't take 2. Right? Look, you're on your lunch hour at work. How long does it take for you to email your state senator, your state house rep, your federal house rep, and your state and your federal senator? How long does it take you to do that on your lunch break? This is what I'm saying. If conservatives and even my libertarian friends the same way. If you don't activate, these people will continue subverting our children. And then we're going to wonder what happened. No matter how much we teach at home, their influence, right, is coming from the school. Right? We need more conservative educators. We need more conservative or libertarian administrators in our schools to break this cycle of perpetuity.
The problem is all of our educators, all of our administrators right now are going through college and university courses taught by progressives, taught by liberals, taught by the same people who are teaching our kids this bullshit. And I am saying it's bullshit. When you have a mother in Maine of all places, who comes before the school board raising hell because her child, her daughter, was being transitioned without her notice, without her permission, and without even telling her that her daughter wanted to be a boy? I'm sorry. There's a major issue there. We're going to keep it our little secret. I'm sorry. When I grew up, somebody saying that, they were a fucking predator and they deserve to die. Why are we allowing predators in our schools? Why are we allowing them in our universities? Why are we allowing them to teach our kids? We don't allow the government to keep secrets from us. We don't allow the government schools to keep secrets from us about our kids. It's horrifying. There is no way this is common sense at all. Where are you people at when you have kids in elementary and middle school? Where are you at as parents? Why are you not standing the hell up and saying, I'm sorry? What are you doing with my child? What are you telling them? And why are you telling them to keep it a secret?
And then that's exactly.
It's not just at the school board meetings that this needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. It needs to happen on your state school board. It needs to happen with your governorship.
Your local government.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like, it's past time to activate, and that window is closing quickly.
Yeah, it is.
Because as soon as the left and this perverse agenda gets in the door,
yeah,
we can no longer blame anybody but ourselves. Because look, they're trying to see in Washington State. Check this out. In Washington State, the other day, that there's the state house in Washington, the state Senate passed a bill that's going to be passed off to the House that allows the government to come in to take your children if you do not agree with them transitioning to the gender they want to be. This is where we're at.
Yes, it is.
This is where we are.
And this is moving nationwide, folks. It's not just Washington. It's also California.
Yep.
Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, is trying to do the same thing. There are other states that are doing this, y'all. It is not just California or Washington State.
Look, I stand on my statement. This keeps going. We're going to see the most prolific school shooter in American history, and it's going to be a female.
Yep.
Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Now they'll listen at that point. They don't care if a man gets outraged and do shit, but when a woman gets outraged, oh no. Right? I mean, look at the difference between the coverage of Jeffrey Dahmer and Aileen Wuornos.
Yeah.
Right? That coverage, people still talk about Aileen Wuornos today.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what she did and how she did it. Oh, they listened then. Oh, they passed laws to do certain things. But a man, Jeffrey Dahmer chop up people and eat them is cool. Ted Bundy travels across the country and kills prostitutes. It's cool. It's just, it's, whatever. But a woman jumps up and does, it's game over. That's what I'm telling you. And this is going to go right along the line of the gun agenda. Like, God, I hate talking like this, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a girl that's gonna be the worst and most prolific school shooter in American history.
She's gonna go the hell off the deep end, and it's gonna be game over.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it'll be game over. And the thing is it'll change laws, not for the better.
Nope. Yep. And it's going to force the United States to commit human rights violations to take guns from people.
Yeah. Instead of doing what they should have in the first place and listen to us when we say that being disrespectful of women and girls is going to get you into a world of hurt. Because we'll only take this shit for so long. And trust me, Budweiser's finding that out. And it's not necessarily the women that are pushing against this one. It's the men who are finally sick and tired of seeing the women being mocked. Because, and I'm going to bring this up, Dylan Mulvaney is not a trans person. He is not a drag queen. He is mocking women. I've had enough of it. I know there are a lot of other women out there who have had enough of it, and I know there are an awful lot of men who are pissed off at it.
Look, I say it once and I'll say it again. These quote-unquote white men And again, y'all heard me say it before. I'm going to say it again for the new listeners that are coming through to understand the position, right? These same people that push this trans agenda, this whole thing and shove it in your face agenda, right, are white men. Right? Now, let's go back. These same people talk about how they hate the patriarchy, how they hate white supremacy, but you got white men dictating what a woman is. But wait a minute. White men they're only mad at white men because of abortion, but they're not mad at them for trying to try to tell a woman how to be a woman when you're born with a damn penis. Huh? Okay, never mind. I'll digress.
The thing is you cannot look at someone like that and have a 13-year-old girl who is just starting her cycles. And point to Dylan Mulvaney and say, this is what a woman should be. That's not a woman! It's a dude! It's a chick with a dick. I'm sorry. Be who you want to be. But stop. For the love of anything you hold dear, stop trying to act like you are a woman. You're not. You will never be. And you are pissing those of us who are completely off. Because we're tired of having to explain to people what a woman is because you people have completely muddied the waters. I can't define what a woman is because, it means so many things. No. Do you have a uterus? Were you born female with female chromosomes? That pretty much answers the damn question. Move along. And yes, for those of us who are joining late, we think he's a patsy. We think he is being held up to cover government asses.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, 563-999-1708. You want to chime in on the Tashera kid, how we protect our children, Ukraine investigation into misappropriated funds, right? So y'all come on here and do the thing. Talk to us. Drop your opinions, comments, and questions. 563-999-1708. Again, that's 563-999-1708. Now, with that being said, let's put a spin on this hypothetical question.
Okay.
We're heading into the general election 2024. Trump or RFK?
Trump. I'm sorry, Trump. Look, and I've told you this before. I love some of RFK's ideas, okay? But listening to him for any length of time, I would claw my own ears off my head.
Well, I could see that. I like I said before, right? I said before about this, right? I mean, let's keep it all the way real, right? They're in their own ways, RFK and Trump, they're really one and the same coin, right? They're both statist in my eyes.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I don't think neither one of them will tear the Constitution back to where it's supposed to be,
No.
Or use their powers appropriately according to Article 2. But that's neither here or there, right? That's my opinion. But I will also say that in the grand scheme, I could see RFK beating Trump. I can actually see him beating Trump.
I could see him beating him, but it would be an awfully damn hard slog. It really would be an awfully hard slog.
Right, and that's a legitimate. And we're not talking about cheating. That Robert F. K. carried that much swag because I mean, look, he was one of the most outspoken people on this vaccine. One of the most outspoken people, right?
But do you think that would honestly get him more Democrat votes?
I think he would get an overwhelming amount of the Trump votes.
Really?
I really do think so.
Interesting,
right? Because I mean, look. Because here's the conundrum.
He'd certainly get the Never Trumpers. How's that?
Yeah, he'd get the Never Trumpers, right? But here's the thing, right? During this whole thing, right? Conservatives and a lot of Republicans alike respect Kennedys. Right? They always, right? We always heard how they referred to old Kennedy Democrats, right? They would vote for a Kennedy Democrat before a rhino.
Yeah.
Now, yes,
Trump hell yes. Now, if it were Lindsey Graham running against RFK, you know damn good and well I'd vote for RFK every day of the week.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And Trump, now Trump's an anomaly, right? And his support base is solid, but you know the thing is like even the Democrats, that were censored by their own people that were against this vaccine. They're going to be behind RFK 100%. The conservatives and the Republicans that were on the fence politically with Trump is going to lean to RFK. And because we have to keep in mind the MAGA group is a lot smaller than what we think it is. Right? It's kind of like how the whole left seems like the whole left is loud and it's only 1% of them that are actually loud. The rank and file are not saying anything.
But again, I'm looking at the numbers from the last election, and Trump garnered a hell of a lot of votes.
Yeah,
I mean it was a record number.
Right now, you know what? We a real crazy twist. There's two twists already mentioned. We got 3 calls hanging in there. But
hang on, guys.
Here's a double twist. If RFK, right, runs with Rissa Islam.
Yep, and we talked about that Monday.
Right,
that would be an interesting ticket.
That I think. Majority of the quote unquote black vote will push RFK over the edge, over the hill to beat Trump.
I would agree with that.
By default, right? Now, if RFK was VP, right? Here's where it can get crazy. RFK's Trump's VP, right?
Excuse me.
And Rissa Islam is the senior advisor to Trump or RFK. That right there in itself, there's not a single Democrat with enough swag to break that.
No, you would break the bank with that one.
They would be scrambling to do everything to put Trump in jail. They'd be scrambling to put RFK in jail, and then they'd be definitely scrambling to get at Rissa.
Israel,
right? So. That could be craziness if Trump could put that together. Like that's it. That's it. That's game over.
Yeah, complete game over. And let's go ahead and put our money down in Las Vegas. Let's go.
Right. That's exactly it. Let's get to the phone calls. First phone call on the line 541. We know who this be. Miss Marlene. What's going on, sister? How you doing?
I'm just fine, Rod. Hi, Cal.
Hey, honey.
Oh gosh. I do remember that Trump did get a historic amount of votes in 2020.
Yeah, it was something like 71 or 72 million.
Correct.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
How many did Joe Biden get? Like 81 million?
81. Yeah, how that's possible.
Million, but so many of those were fake votes, and we know that.
For real.
Well, you know, it's hard to remember if you voted in 2020 if you're dead, so, you know.
Yeah, no kidding.
For real.
It was a little hard to actually do that.
So what you got going on, Marlene?
Well, I you know what, I wasn't going to bring this up, but what the hell? I think I will, because Rod might even know this.
Okay.
That Lincoln, our former President Lincoln, was shot today in 1865.
That is correct.
Yep, and you probably know all the rest. I was telling Mr. Hutchin this, and I guess he wasn't aware of all this. I didn't know either. My dear husband David was telling me this.
Yeah.
Apparently he was watching a play with his wife.
Yeah.
It was called Our American Cousin. And John Wilkes Booth, I did not know this, was a part of the cast in that play. And he also worked there at that theater.
Yes, he did.
And, yep. And then the other interesting thing was that Lincoln's friend, a guy named Warden Lehman, told him either that day or maybe the day before, he told Lincoln not to go to the theater.
Yes.
And Lincoln thought that Warden was treating him like a little baby. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so Lincoln says, I'm going to go anyway. Now, we know how that turned out. Yeah. Just great.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
No shit. I don't know. We'll never get to ask her.
God.
But, as far as
I don't think anybody would be that rude in that time period.
Probably not. Not then. Oh, no.
No.
He would now, but not then.
Yeah.
But this whole thing that's going on in Washington, and I'm sure it's going to come to Oregon, you were talking about how the government was going to take away your kids if they don't succumb to gender surgery or whatever.
Yeah, in Washington.
That is absolutely horrifying. I mean, it is.
But this is the way the country is moving, Marlene.
I know it. That's what makes me sick. I know it is. I know it's like this whole country is becoming modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, it's not the whole country. It's the politicians.
Okay.
It's the politicians. And I'm saying this because most of the people that I know would be absolutely horrified by something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know quite a few people in this area. They would be absolutely horrified by that, and a lot of them are Democrats.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't. The funny thing is, out here, I really don't think that most, or at least in where I am, they don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to this, Central Oregon, where Rod would probably know it's a little more conservative. They're going to be saying, "Hell no, you're not going to come near my child, and my child is not going to receive this stuff."
Yeah.
This is horrid.
Yeah, it is. But this is the way that the progressive movement has pushed us for decades. This is part of their end game, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what advantage this gives them other than killing off the human race, because how are you going to breed if you've sterilized everybody,
Yeah. Which brings me to something that just popped into my head, Kel, is I think this gender crap, I have a feeling it's probably part of Agenda 2030 or Agenda 21. Because they talk about population control. And that is one way to control the population.
Yeah, it is.
To sterilize you so you can't have children.
Yeah. To make you think that you want this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's sick, but yeah. I mean, it just horrifies me. I don't dwell on it, but it's still a horrible thought.
Well, I mean, it's the same with abortions and everything else. And congratulations, by the way, to Florida. Ron DeSantis just signed the 6-week ban.
Yay.
Good. So
good for him. And one more thing out of Oregon. Apparently, in the metro Portland area, starting in July, the minimum wage is going to go over $15 an hour. It's going to be $15.45 an hour.
Oh.
Good luck picking up that Big Mac, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Be glad you don't live in Portland. I mean, you need to go live in that city. A lot of people are leaving too because because of all the crime. Even like some of the food carts. I talked to you about this on the other show a while back about how the food cart people, they're getting out of there and closing up shop. They don't want to get killed, and they don't want their food carts robbed.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Destroyed.
Then they'll have to raise taxes to maintain the city. And then what?
Right. Yep.
And it's gonna and Portland is going to turn into Seattle 2.0.
Yep.
Oh, I believe you. Yep. Oh, I know. Well, I often I might even go as far as saying Detroit 2.0, but either
well, hey, at this point, these cities are not that far off.
Hey, look, Detroit doesn't have feces all over the ground yet, unlike Seattle does.
There ain't nobody living in damn Detroit to put feces all over the ground.
Well, yeah, because
That's right.
because they take their homeless people, either throw them in jail or send them out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that's what Wayne County does. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They pick up their homeless. They either put them in jail or send them out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that's in Detroit?
Yes.
Or is that in Seattle?
Yeah, Wayne County.
Detroit. Yeah, Wayne County,
Okay,
Michigan.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it. I just thought of a few things to sort of pop in on tonight. And also as of this, later on this, going into this next week, I will be in your neck of the woods, Rod. We're going to be in Florida. Dave and I are going to be in Florida next week. We're going to be doing the start of the house search.
Oh, there you go. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. I'm not saying we're going to, put the offer on one, but we're going to be definitely looking at some stuff, and so we'll see.
There you go. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Well, have fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm sorry, guys. I'm excited. And I feel like a little kid, but that's okay. I can be a kid. I don't care how old I am.
Hey, you know what? This time of year, Florida's gorgeous. It's before the really, really hot season.
Oh, I know. We've been there about this time before, and it's perfect time, perfect season.
Yeah, it is.
But if we get there when it, if it turns into 90 odd something or whatever, I'll just say, okay, we acclimate, we learn. But this is a nicer time to go.
There you go.
All right, my friends, I'm going to get off the line. I'm sure people are waiting.
All right, indeed.
Safe travels, honey.
All right, safe travels. Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Bye.
All right, next caller, 270. Come on through. We got one more after this one, after Mr. Rico. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, you just said some profound fucking shit today. What's up with that, man?
Hey, look, sometimes I'm SMRT.
To kind of cling on to that a little bit is, I got to say this. What the hell? Why in the hell would I want to help black people now? I'm being serious here.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm not being hateful.
I don't know. Why would you?
I don't. If they think I'm a racist, I don't want nothing to do with them. I won't hire them. I won't help them. I'll just let them do what they do because they got their own people that help them out. They've got the government to help them out. So why the fuck do I want to help black people out?
Okay, but Rico, on the same side of the coin, why would you want to help white people? They think you're racist too.
No, it's not the same thing. It's young white
I mean,
people.
let's be honest. I've been called racist by more white people than
I don't want to help out either.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've been called racist more by white people than black people.
It's the other way around for me.
Yeah,
but see, I've had more problem with black people than I've had with white people, and I've been around white people a whole lot more.
But Rico, we also have to understand too, brother. Right? We have to understand location, right? You're not in the city now. If you were to go to Lexington or let's go to Louisville.
Louisville, yeah.
Different story, right? It's a completely different story. You're going to have those little Gen Z, little teeny bopping Gen Z cats of all stripes calling you a racist just because of some bullshit history they were taught.
I understand that.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about one segment right now. We're talking about black people. We can talk about white people later.
Well, we can talk about both. It's all the same. It's all the same generation with the rhetoric. Because again, right? Folks our age ain't saying shit like that.
Not normally, no.
No, they basically it's a combat zone in some of these universities.
Yes, it is. I mean, combat. What do you mean?
People,
they come with nuclear weapons.
Some people have to when they give out their final exam, they have to bring the sheriff's department with them.
Yeah,
because they're being threatened.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So, Yeah, well, one of the things I hope happens is that the professors that are teaching, that are being threatened, should just walk out on the university and say, "I'm done."
Yep, they sure should.
I'm being threatened here. You don't allow me to have guns to protect myself, and I'm being threatened here by young people who can overpower me.
Exactly. And
by the way, did you hear?
What's that?
I've been fooled. By the way.
Oh,
I've been told I've been fooled.
Oh, you've been fooled.
Oh, yes. Apparently, Republicans are by far worse than what Democrats are. This is what I'm being told.
Okay.
Well, I mean, look, Rico. Let's keep it Woodrow like we always do. Both Democrats and Republicans are hot garbage. Let's just call that straight out what it is.
It's all one big dumpster fire.
I understand that, but for me, in the general scheme of things, if you're attacking the Republican side, you're trying to divide the Republican side, which makes the Democratic side stronger. At the same time, the Democrats are the ones that have been destroying this nation and this world, and that by far is 1,000-fold worse than what the Republicans do. Some people they're getting mad at Fox News. They're getting mad at Fox News, and there's nothing wrong with Fox News other than that they got a little problem with Trump from time to time.
Yeah.
Fox News is fine. Anything is the person I'm talking about usually says something that they either said or something they didn't do. That's the two criteria for hating the Republicans. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
To me, it doesn't make any sense because it's like, okay, you can't fight all battles. You can't fight a battle on 4 different sides and stay standing. Pick your enemies and pick them wisely.
No, I feel like
the Republicans, as far as I can tell,
you're trying to divide the country even further, strengthening the Democratic side.
Yeah, that's
my thought.
It's one of those things where the only reason I fought against Lindsey Graham is because I think he's an idiot. I will vote against him every single time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going. Now wait a minute. I will vote against him every single time, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to support him when he's voting for something that should be voted for.
Yeah, but if you're voting against him, are you voting for the Democrat or are you voting for the other Republican?
I'm voting against Lindsey Graham. I'm not voting for a Democrat.
So if let's say it's Biden against him, would you vote for Biden over Lindsey Graham?
Oh, hell no.
I just want to be voting in that election. That's kind of where that's at, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things I'm tired of people saying that I have to pick between a Republican and a Democrat. No. I'm choosing ideas. If your policies suck, I vote against you, period. Doesn't matter what side you're on.
Now, here's the interesting question I have for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be out there someplace Democrats that don't like what the mainstream Democrats are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know who these people are?
Yeah.
Do we know who these people are? Because I don't.
Yeah, but the Republicans. But the Republicans are too damn terrified to go into their neighborhoods.
Right,
the funny thing is, people talk about how the Republicans don't fight, but the Republicans are under constant stress. They're under constant, being threatened all the time. They're under constant, continuous threat. And who would want to really fight back if you know your life can be destroyed, just like what they're doing to Trump and what they're going to try to do to Jim Jordan and all that stuff.
And you know
That's what's happening.
And you know what? Here's what I say. Here's what I say as a recovering Republican caucus leader, right?
Yeah.
You cannot be scared, right? If you're standing on the principles of liberty, if you're standing on the principles of human rights, there should be no reason for you to stop at a threshold or a line to stop you from espousing those principles. And that's the problem. And I said that before at the beginning, right, of the show, right? We're talking about conservatives need to activate immediately because that window is closing. And once that window is closed, then what? Because the Democrats are out here all the damn time doing some sort of shindig or another, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they
signing
have barbecues around here all the time.
Yeah, signing up voters. Republicans can do the same thing. Conservatives can do the same exact thing. You gotta start
shut
somewhere.
down, though. That's what I'm saying. They will get. They
then
will
you
get
come
shut
back.
down.
Then you come
and
back.
Don't forget about the 2 Republicans in Pennsylvania who have been assassinated.
Look,
don't forget about those 2 guys.
Hey, look, I look at it.
This could start.
Okay, fine. We can go down that road, but here's the thing, right? The civil rights leaders suffered a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
Some of them got assassinated for the cause, for human rights and equality, right? So if you're not willing to die for that Constitution and the preservation of this country, I'm sorry, people need to step to the wayside and allow people that want to do it and support them doing it.
Exactly.
That right there.
The thing is being afraid to serve is what is stopping a lot of people and keeping them on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And I think that's true because, like I said, we are under constant threat, including the possibility of assassination.
But you know what? You can't live your life by the possibility of someone killing you.
I understand that, but we used to live in a world where we didn't have to worry about that.
Well, true enough.
But
that's not our world anymore.
We were able to speak our mind. Now we can't speak our mind because our whole life will be canceled. I've seen people, the children die from fentanyl, and they're devastated because of it, and they blame the Democratic Party, they blame Biden, they blame all them people.
But
there's a lot of fear in this country on the Republican side.
But watch this.
The only thing that can conquer this is fighting back in a, like you've said before, a kinetic war. That's the only way to fight this.
You know what?
Because it's not going to end. I got one more question for you, but you go ahead.
I got one more saying, and we got to get to the next caller after your question. But I'll say this: Thomas Jefferson said it right. The tree of liberty needs to be watered by the bloods of the patriots and tyrants from time to time, right?
Yes. It's
my question.
It's awful close to the time to play patriots and tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. This is a question. It's somewhat facetious, but it's also serious. Would the world be better off if every white person in the world was eliminated?
Okay, so here's the thing. How do you describe white?
Yeah.
Because white's not real.
I understand that, but let's say there is a definition of white in the white that minorities believe what white is.
But see, we're playing in that paradigm, right? What's white?
And what's black?
I understand you're trying to avoid the question.
No, he's not. He's not. There's no avoiding the question because what's white and what's black?
Right.
What's brown?
Right. Because look, Rico, straight up, the definition of
Caucasian. How's that better? Is that better? Should we change the words?
Caucasian means nothing either. Because Jews are considered Caucasian, but they're of Khazarian and Hebrew descent. You see what I'm saying? What is white? Just like what is black?
But I'm just saying, would this world be better off without the white people that is described by the minorities?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm just going to answer that in protest because I don't align with that paradigm, right? Because what is a minority, right? Because really, if you look at the definition of black, white people are the minority. See what I'm saying?
Well, that's worldwide. I'm talking about.
You just said worldwide.
Yeah.
You did say
if we were to disappear from the planet, worldwide, we are a minority, and we are a growing minority. In other words, we're becoming a smaller and smaller group by the day.
Well, not even that, right? The definition of black, the actual definition of black is pale. coming from the actual Old Flemish word called blek, BLAEC, which is also the root for bleach. See what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at when I talk about this black-white thing. Like, what is black? What is white? Because it's all twisted around and weaponized, right? We don't have to subscribe to that. So your question, Mr. Rico, should be: what if the pale-skinned people per se, right?
White, yeah.
Or non-melanated would be the better word.
No, wait a minute. I'm melanated when I have a tan.
Stop.
So you're parsing words just like the Democrats do.
No, not parsing words. Not. This is actual. This is actually definitive, because remember, black and white's only an American construct. It's no construct nowhere else in the world, unless it's a NATO or UN country, they use black or white. Any other country looks at you stupid if you identify as white or black.
So I'm in the United States, and when you're to going to get my colonoscopy, they ask me if I'm white, and I
in America,
that's a problem. Yeah.
Well, in America now, if you go to Egypt, you know what you are? You're a United States national. You're not white. If you go to...
All right, so whatever the non-melanated people, if they were gone, would this be a better world?
No.
Okay, I think it'd be a worse world. Because I believe that white society, or non-melanated society, has contributed to constructing civilization much stronger than most other nations.
I would actually have to refer you to the first city-state of Ur, Mesopotamia, Babylon.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking modern Western society, then yes.
Modern Western, yes, but you can't say society, because the Semites created the establishment,
right?
Right.
That's why we're having the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, I'll let you guys go, because I know I'm running a little bit long. I hope I was entertaining. I'll try to be entertaining next week.
All right, cool. I appreciate you, man. All right, Rico. Be good, man. All right, next and last caller of the evening. Looks like 805 in the building. Who this? Who you be? Where you at?
This is Rocky, and
what's going on, Rocky?
Rico was entertaining, and I want to talk to him about the Jones Act.
Well, we're not talking about the Jones Act right now. That's not topic of conversation right now.
We're talking about presidential candidates, and I want to say I found it. Well, first off, for Trump to be running against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would be a win-win for America.
Yeah, I can't say that you're wrong. I can't say that.
That'd be the first time you can't vote for
the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That'd be the first time that would happen. The lesser of two evils. No, it's the greater of
two goods.
Greater of two goods. Yeah.
Right.
That would be good. Some of the things you guys were saying. Well, first off, for that to happen, RFK Jr. would have to win the Democrat ticket, which we all know that's not Democratic.
But you know what? But here's the thing. But see, here's the thing, Rocky. You're not going against the royal namesake of the Democrat Party. I mean, they offed all of them for that reason. They haven't gotten that close to RFK Jr. yet. You see what I'm saying? I don't think Democrats would dare do that, because they know what would happen.
That's why it couldn't be. That's why I'm saying it couldn't be. A Trump RFK Jr. ticket, is because if everything was democratic and done in the democratic method, then RFK would be running against Trump.
Well, Yeah, you're right. But, you know, and even still, right, they could still cross. I mean, look at what Johnson and Lincoln did.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing saying that there can't be a bipartisan ticket. I mean, look at North Carolina. They do it all the time.
Yep.
Right now, you've got a Democrat governor and a Republican lieutenant governor.
Right.
Sure. But that's not...
That's not the norm.
It's not normal. It's not normal at all.
That's not how running for president works anymore.
No.
Because, you know, you got to pick your VP now after the winner of the primary picks their VP ticket.
They do. And who's to say that Trump wouldn't pick RFK?
Right.
Or RFK wouldn't pick Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, it could go either way. I mean, that would be like a spectacular ticket.
I'm saying there's no way they're going to let RFK win the primary, even though history states that there's never been an incumbent Democrat president that's ever won against a Kennedy.
Right.
1968.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
That's true. Very true.
I mean, look. Even though as bad as Schwarzenegger was, right? He was a Kennedy byproduct. He was a Kennedy in-law, right?
Yeah.
But look.
Yeah, but he knocked up his.
Yeah, he knocked up his maid.
Well,
but regardless of knocking up the maid, right? Look at the election.
Yeah.
Look at the election of Schwarzenegger. And what happened? You don't win. You cannot, even though he ran on a Republican ticket, by virtue being a Kennedy in-law, gave him that anointing.
Yeah.
You couldn't beat him. He termed out. He term limited.
He did terrible things for California.
He did.
As far as
he did 100%. I'm just speaking on, you know what I'm saying, the virtue of the Kennedy name and what that gets you.
Yeah, I was probably, you know, at that point I was too young to know what was actually going on. And
right.
Realizing that Shriver and everything, it was like, oh, he's a Republican? California? Okay, yeah, I'll vote for him. And before I realized, you know, he's a bigger douchebag than Kevin McCarthy.
Damn.
Yeah, and understanding politics takes time. You know, it takes life and experience.
Yes, it does.
So,
yeah, it does.
So that's why I say that. Not because I don't hold personal grudges and stuff. You know, against most politicians, except when they're born into it and just perpetuate the bullshit. You know, I would love to see RFK Jr. run against Donald Trump, and I think that would be the best thing for America.
I don't disagree at all. I think that would be a fascinating race. Absolutely fascinating.
It would.
Because you know what? Both of them know what's up.
They do.
As much as I disagree with RFK Jr., he knows the CIA killed his father and his uncle.
Yep.
And his uncle. Yeah.
And he doesn't trust the vaccine. So I would love to see, you know, I'd love to see him debate Trump on the vaccine. And I think that...
yeah, that alone would be interesting as hell.
What secures it for me. And a big thing that Rico was saying, Rico doesn't understand the Blue Dog Democrats, who are the working person, you know, who have really been screwed over by the Democrat Party over the last couple decades. Because now the Democrats are the rich fat cats.
Yeah.
And when it comes to most Republicans, Ron DeSantis, God bless him, but he doesn't speak for the working man most of the time. He's done great things as a governor, but he doesn't win over the Midwest Blue Dog Democrats who voted for Trump. And he's not gonna get those votes. So that's all he's got.
Well, not if Trump is in the race, no. And I could actually see him winning it over if Trump is not in the race. In other words, if you're talking after, in the next election, not 2024, but the next election, yeah, I could see DeSantis winning that over.
Yeah, I could.
Because of what's happened in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, but Florida is the Midwest.
There are a lot of people from the Midwest who are retiring in Florida. Believe it or not.
Trump?
Yeah.
So that means, no. Well, that's what you're saying is exactly what I'm trying to say. It's okay. A lot of people from the Midwest moved to Florida. Okay. One state is not going to win the presidency.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking snowbirding. I'm not. No, wait a minute, Rocky.
It's not going to win the Rust Belt.
I'm not talking about permanent move. I'm talking about snowbirding. In other words, they have a second house in Florida.
Right, yeah, we have a lot of snow. Like, where I'm at, like, I'll be straight up. Like, where I'm at, like, I'll be lucky I won't see a neighbor, right, between probably May till about October.
Yeah.
Like, my street will be dead.
Yeah.
Literally dead. Like, we can walk up and down my street. Any given day, we might see 2 cars on the whole street between May and October.
And we see the same thing here. The only people we see around here, in other words, over towards Hilton Head and everything, is tourists.
Right.
Because most of the people who live here in the winter go back up north into the Midwest for the summer.
Right.
And that's great. That's great that those people have earned enough in their lifetime that they have essentially a vacation or a winter home. I've seen it even when I was working in Alaska. I saw that.
Right.
People would move up to from Arizona to Alaska for 6 months out of the year.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean that their vote migrates like that.
No, their vote stays where their actual residence is. Snowbirding doesn't mean that you vote in the place that you snowbird in.
Right, correct.
The people who come to Hilton Head in the summer or in the winter do not vote here.
Right. And that's the same way it is here. The people that snowbird here do not vote here. They vote in there.
They
most
vote
of the
in
people,
their home of residence, which is the Midwest or the North.
Right.
Okay, I think may have missed
Okay. Well, okay. You have people. Okay, let me put it this way. I had a friend, and his wife. As a matter of fact, his wife just passed away not too long ago. They lived in the area of Rockford, okay, Winnebago County up in Illinois. They would stay for 3 months out of the year down around St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Okay? And that was in the summertime. Or in the wintertime, when it was deepest, darkest winter in northern Illinois, which is December, January, and February. Okay? They would come back in March to Illinois and stay until December of the next year. That's snowbirding.
Yeah.
That's getting away from the snow so you don't have to deal with it.
Cheaters.
Right.
Yeah, right. You don't have to shovel snow all winter. You don't have to deal with 20 below for the high. You're dealing with 60 degrees in the wintertime. And that's what they do.
But is that really changing the voting demographics though?
Well, it doesn't change. It doesn't change the voting demographics in the state they are snowbirding in because they cannot register to vote. Now, what we have been seeing though, and I can speak for probably more southern Palm Beach County, like around Boca Raton and Delray, down that way. A lot of the snowbirds have sold their homes up north and made Florida the permanent residence. But is that going to be a huge swing in our elections? No, it really is not that big of a swing. Right, because these snowbirds down here is a very small minority of people to swing an election once they register here. But again, majority of the people that do snowbird here, they vote in their home state like New York, because most people here in Palm Beach County, they're from New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, Hyannis.
That's
right?
That's what I was trying to get at, Mr. Threets, because that's what I was trying to get at.
And it kind of depends. If they've seen how it is up where they are. In other words, you're talking northern Illinois where the roads are falling to shit and you're not getting as much in the way of services in that, but you're getting better services and better roads and everything else in St. Simons in Georgia.
Right.
Yeah, it could very well change the way you vote if you decide to move down to Georgia full time.
Right.
It could.
Oh, sure, and that's why, hundreds of thousands of people have been leaving California, and hundreds of thousands have been leaving New York.
Same with Illinois.
But, California and New York are still states.
Yeah,
so
they are.
Concentrating all the Republican votes into Florida from California and New York doesn't help any other state. Or it doesn't help the national vote.
Right. Right, yeah, because their vote, the only, I mean, it's not, here's the thing, right, when we're talking about, and we're talking about the snowbirds, like, they are really such a small minority of people, like, literally these snowbirds are probably maybe 0.5% of the population.
And the fact is they're a smaller population than they were, because I know that when I was growing up, it was a lot more popular to snowbird than it was to actually move to a different state once you retired.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing more of now is people moving to different states once retirement age hits.
Right. And with that, it's not enough to swing an electoral college or a district, right?
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Exactly. It is, though. When what did they say when Trump won in 2016? They said 40,000 votes in 4 states. That if Hillary would have won 40,000 votes in those 4 states, that's 10,000 votes per state.
Yeah.
But really sit back and think about. But really, think about that a second, though, Rocky.
That's the exact same thing that happened in 2020. It was really 40 or 50,000 votes.
Right, but
those states.
But you have to really think about it in this context, though, right? That very small minority of people would not have affected that election, right? These are locals that are already there that caused that split, not the snowbirds. Because remember, these snowbirds are very, very, very minority populated. Yeah. Right? I mean, like I say, it's less than 1% of Americans that are snowbirds. Right? So we have to look at it in that context, right? Are all, let's say 10,000, right, per state, are 10,000 snowbirds going to one area? Probably not.
No.
Right? You probably have.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands leaving California, and the hundreds of thousands leaving New York, and look at what happened in the last election. New York without Lee Zeldin. Oh my God! I mean, they picked up a shit ton of Republican seats in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, but that's not due to snowbirding. That's due to migration.
That's not snow. No. It's not snowbirds. Maybe I was wrong with that.
Well, that's just migration. It's migration. It's what it is. It's state.
Well,
but it's absolutely migration. but with New York lost 500,000 people last year, or whatever, and picked up how many congressional seats?
No, yeah, they lost. Yeah, we picked up one. Texas picked up one.
Yeah.
No. I'm not talking about the population congressional seats. I'm talking about the seats that.
Okay, that were already available. Got
like
you.
5 or 6.
Right.
Yeah, of available seats, they flipped 5 or 6 seats in New York alone, right?
Right. That's correct. That is correct.
That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should have been.
No, you're good.
What I was trying to talk about. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. And shit, you're. I'm probably running late anyway, but that's.
Go ahead, let it rip while you're at it. I have a couple minutes. I have 3 minutes left.
Okay, well, I'll hang on then.
Oh God.
That's what I was trying to say is that even with these, in California flipped a couple seats, from blue to red, last year or 2020. And to think that you can't do this on a larger scale. I think it needs to be. We need to concentrate on. Well, Ron McDaniel is a fucking failure. And,
don't even get me started.
And we're staring down fucking a double barrel failure that she stays in. And that's what aggravates me. I'd like to hear your words on
that. I got no words for Rana. I got no words for her. That's just that. That's it. I got no words for her.
The Romney Republicans are done. And they need to fucking realize that and go away.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that wholeheartedly.
They've been done for a while. Just people didn't realize, how done they were.
You can only wear the sweater tied around your neck for so long before people realize you're a false person.
Do you think that with oh God, did McConnell fall down the stairs?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he fell in a restaurant and gave himself a concussion.
Yeah, the dude about to retire.
Yeah.
From, oh my God, South Carolina. I'm about to have some words about South Carolina.
About which one in South Carolina?
Yeah, you want to go the way of South California.
No, God, no.
No, that's not what we're doing today.
No, that's not what we're doing at all, trust me.
Not today, Satan. Right here telling lies.
Going the way of South California? I don't think so.
I live in California, and
I know.
So let me be your warning post.
Right.
we need some exorcism going on.
Look, at this point, South Carolina needs an exorcism to get rid of some of these candidates, I swear.
They need something. We got to roll out. We got to roll out. We getting the Roxanne red light. Okay, we got to do the thing.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. The best thing I heard today is Mike Pompeo is not running for president.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yay!
Oh, Lord. Wow.
All right, Rock. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Hugs.
All right. Love you, brothers.
All right.
And
peace.
Ms. Gal.
Love you, honey.
Peace. Hey, I appreciate everybody running through here this evening, hanging out with us. I didn't realize we had actually went that long, but I got the green light to do so. But hey, we're good. Hey, thank you, Miss Kel, as always. Thank you, everybody in live chat for coming through. Those y'all listening across the internet, thank you. Those y'all listening on the airwaves, thank you too. Remember, we'll be back here on Sunday night for Chasing Life, Liberty, and Monarchy at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Before then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy life, and love everybody. Peace, love, and happiness.
Thanks for listening to the Southern Liberty Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.bpmg.us or leave a rating and review on iTunes. To catch all the latest from Roderick, you can follow him on social media at manofjustice007. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.